So if you read pretty much any diet book or study most dietary philosophies that are at all popular, you'll notice one thing, one particular food group that is most often really not even touched on or completely ignored altogether. And that is, of course, probiotics or lacto-fermented foods. In my opinion, this is the most important food group, the highest leverage, the most transformational, and most impactful food group. So what I'm going to do in this video is explain why that is and how adding these things into our diet can actually make our process of health or transformation or upgrading our diet or whatever actually quite a bit easier and quite a bit more effective. And oftentimes people try to change their diet or try to do healthy things, but really struggle and often fail because they're relying upon willpower. They're relying upon, well, I know this is bad, but this is good, so I just have to do that. But really their body just wants to do this, but their mind is saying do that, and it's this real battle. Well, most people start and end in that place. And what is often forgotten and not realized is like, well, why is the body saying it wants this thing? Why is the body wanting to go in this direction? And what is really wanting those things? Now, obviously, conditioning and habituation has a major piece. Of course, that's the psychological component. But also a major piece of that is our level and our balance of gut bacteria or flora in our digestive system. What most people don't know is that we're actually more bacteria than we are human cells, to the degree of 10 times. So number one, we're mostly water. And then second to that, we're 10 times more bacteria than we are human cells. So just take a second and let that sink in, because we're sort of sold this weird idea about what it means to be human and what it means to, be in control and do this and do that. When in reality, we need to look at these facts and figures and see what might be implied by that. So getting back to our point, we can start to understand that these bacteria are quite important. And they are what fill up our digestive system. They're what literally coat our entire body. And these bacteria live in our gut and have a major place, a major piece to play in what we crave and what we see as being attractive in the food world. Meaning some people they can go out to dinner and they can have a piece of cake put in front of them and they just feel this inner pull that they just have to have it. And if they don't have it, it's this whole emotional thing and it's this weird big ordeal. Yet other people can look at that and say, I don't know, I'm not really in the mood, or yeah, maybe I'm kind of in the mood today, so I'll have a little bit, but it's really not a big deal and it's not an emotional thing. Well, why is that? It's not because necessarily the mind, it's more so coming from the gut. So what we can learn and understand from that is that these bacteria play a huge role in what we actually crave. Translation, if we want to crave better foods, we want to eat healthier, we want to eat things that are better for us, then we should probably grow the kinds of bacteria inside of ourselves that want those things. Because we're raised in this weird pasteurization, homogenation, sterilized culture where everything is like very stripped and everything's super clean and pure, and we use antibiotics and antibacterial this and that, which has, yes, many uses, many benefits, and has really helped us evolve to a certain degree. At the same time, it also has misuses and misapplications, meaning our digestive system and all of these beneficial bacteria that we all need. Well, the best place to get all of these things is, yes, consuming cultured and fermented foods on a regular basis. Things like sauerkraut or kimchi or pickled vegetables of all shapes and sizes, or kefir, kombucha, coconut water kefir, milk kefir, whatever. The list just goes on. And it doesn't necessarily matter which of those things we like the best. It's just sort of what we like and what we can actually start with and actually do. So it's not that we just need to pick one because it's the best. It's really we should consume a wide variety of all of these different things, consume a diversity of all of these cultured foods in a way that makes sense and is sustainable and reasonable for our diet. Because nearly every traditional culture across history consumed amounts of fermented and cultured foods as a preservation technique, yes, but also they probably understood the health benefits and how important that is. So to really drive in the health benefits of the bacteria, we need to understand, yeah, we're 10 times more bacteria than human cells. Most of our immune system is coming from our gut, which is coming from these bacteria. Most of our serotonin is also coming from the gut. So also a lot of ADHD and a lot of psychological disturbances have their roots in the gut. And there's a lot of people that are doing research and experimentation on giving people these kinds of foods and these kinds of probiotics and seeing these sorts of conditions more or less just go away. And thirdly, we can understand that what actually digests our food, what actually breaks down our food, is these probiotics and these beneficial bacteria and these enzymes and lactic acids that are all found in these kinds of foods. So it's great to eat better. It's great to be healthy or be X, Y, and Z, but it usually fails because you're sort of just putting things in, but there's no real food or there's no real work crew in place to actualize and utilize these components. Meaning a person's raised drinking tap water with fluoride and chlorine, which kill bacteria. They're probably taking lots of antibiotics. They probably use all sorts of weird chemicals on their body, probably wash their hands all day. They do all these things that are antibacterial. And then they think, well, you know what? I really need to get healthy. I really need to do this. They try to eat healthy. They try to do this. And what happens? Yo-yo, fail, not really sticking, because the work crew in place, or those things which actually transform the nutrients into things that we can use and digest and assimilate these nutrients, are the bacteria and the enzymes. So if we want to make dietary shifts easier and more effective, or different transformations easier and more effective, really comes down to building up a good culture of beneficial bacteria in the gut. So yes, eating all these foods is helpful, and consuming supplemental forms of probiotics in high doses that actually do something. Which, if you've seen some of my older videos, I literally take an entire bottle of probiotics. Because if you just go to the health food store, buy a bottle, and it says, oh, take one capsule, you take that, you're not going to notice anything. Which is very often why people say natural stuff doesn't work, probiotics don't work, I buy it, I take it, I don't notice anything. Well, it's because you have to take a therapeutic, effective dose. So hopefully that's been helpful and can make these changes easier and just much more smooth, because if you think about it, it really makes sense. Why try to use all this willpower and mental energy when you can just recolonize the gut and then naturally crave better things, naturally want better things, because that's just what the body wants and what these bacteria are really calling out for. So, thanks for watching this video, and I'll talk to you soon.